I used to believe trust was unbreakable, like glass tempered by time. Tonight, I learned it shatters in silence. The restaurant buzzed with laughter, music, and the sound of glasses clinking. My company had just closed a $50 million deal. Marcus slapped my back, grinning. You did it, man. Our empire finally stands. I laughed, exhausted but proud. Not mine, Marcus, ours. Lena leaned toward me, her hand brushing my sleeve. You always say that. That's what I love about you, I smiled. What, my humility? She smirked. Your blindness, everyone laughed. I didn't know she meant it. Hours later, the crowd thinned, the champagne warmed, and I finally exhaled. Marcus made another toast. To Ethan Cole, the genius who built the dream. I raised my glass. To the people who made it real. When the dinner ended, Lena kissed my cheek. I'll wait in the car. You talk business with your boys, I nodded, shaking hands and thanking investors. It felt like the best night of my life, until I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. Probably left it in Marcus's office, I muttered. The restaurant was attached to our building, so I walked back through the glass corridor, still humming from the victory. The hallway lights were dim. Our company logo glowed faintly on the wall. I reached Marcus's door and froze. Voices. Lena's voice. Are you sure he won't notice? She whispered. Marcus laughed quietly. Ethan's too trusting. He thinks I'm his brother. My heart skipped. She sighed. He'll hate me. He'll get over it, Marcus said smoothly. Once the board votes, I'll take over. You'll still be on the inside. He'll have his money. We'll have the company. I felt my pulse roar in my ears. Lena murmured. He built it from scratch, Marcus. And I scaled it, Marcus snapped. He's brilliant but soft. You know it. That's why you're with me now, isn't it? Silence. Then her low whisper. Yes. I pressed my back to the wall, breath shaking. Marcus chuckled again. Tomorrow the papers go through. You'll announce your breakup next week. Say he burned out. Everyone will believe it. Lena's voice cracked. He won't survive that. He'll adapt, Marcus said. Men like him always do. Alone. Something inside me split clean in two. I pushed the door slightly open, enough to see them, her hand on his chest, his arm around her waist. They looked like the couple I thought we were, Lena said. Barely audible. He gave me everything, Marcus replied. Then let's take the rest. The sound of their laughter was the cruelest thing I'd ever heard. I wanted to storm in, to scream, to destroy everything on that polished desk. But I couldn't move. My legs locked, my throat burned, my heart turned to stone. They kept talking, business, shares, timing. Every word another knife. Once I'm CEO, I'll make it official, Marcus said. You'll be beside me, not behind him. And if he fights? She asked softly. Marcus grinned. He won't. He's too proud to beg. I clenched my fists until my nails bit skin. Lena leaned closer to him. You're terrible, he kissed her. You love terrible, I shut my eyes. The sound of that kiss felt louder than thunder. My breath came out uneven. I wanted to run, to disappear, to not exist. But instead I stayed there, watching the people I trusted most dismantle my world like it was a game. When I finally stepped back, my reflection stared at me through the glass. Smiling, composed, successful. A lie! I walked down the hallway, numb. My footsteps echoed like accusations. In the elevator, I gripped the railing, whispering to myself, it's not real. I didn't hear that. It's stress, exhaustion. But her laugh echoed again in my mind, soft, familiar, poisoned. Outside, the night air was cold. Lena stood by the car, phone in hand, eyes lighting up when she saw me. Hey, you took forever, I forced a smile. Yeah, Marcus had a few last-minute things to discuss. She tilted her head. You look pale. Just tired, I said. It's been a big night. She brushed my cheek. You deserve it, I almost flinched. Do I? She smiled, pretending not to notice the crack in my voice. Of course you do. Let's go home. The drive was quiet. She hummed a song she used to sing when we first met. My chest felt hollow. At home, she poured wine and talked about the future. I nodded, hearing none of it. My mind replayed every word from Marcus's office. Are you even listening? She asked. I smiled weakly. Just thinking about tomorrow. Don't overthink, she said softly. Tonight's for celebrating. Right, I murmured. Celebrating. She went to bed early, tired from pretending. I sat alone in the dark living room, staring at my reflection in the window. My phone buzzed on the table, a message from Marcus. Great night, brother. The future looks bright, I laughed once. It sounded broken. Underneath his message was one from Lena sent an hour earlier. Love you. Proud of you always. I stared at the words until my vision blurred. Then I deleted both. Outside, rain started tapping the window. I whispered, Congratulations, you two. I poured myself another glass, hands trembling. When the clock struck midnight, I made a silent promise. I built everything they have. And I'll watch it all burn. The glass shattered in my hand, blood mixing with wine on the floor. For a long time, I just watched it spread. Dark, slow, and quiet. Just like betrayal. Morning came with the kind of silence that mocks you. The world outside kept moving, but I couldn't. I stared at Lena sleeping beside me, pretending nothing had happened. Her hand rested on my chest, warm, trusting, false. When she finally stirred, I whispered, We need to talk. She smiled sleepily. About what? About last night, her eyes opened. Fear flickered. What about it? I went back to Marcus's office, I said. I heard you, she froze. Heard what? Everything, my voice cracked. The plan, the lies, the Ethan, she cut in, voice trembling. Please, it's not what you think. I laughed, bitter and hollow. Not what I think? You were planning to take my company with him. She sat up, clutching the sheet. You don't understand. Marcus was drunk. He was just, don't lie to me. I shouted. You said you loved me. Tears filled her eyes instantly. I do love you. Then why him? She swallowed hard. Because he understands me better. I stared, words dying in my throat. Understands you better? After everything we built? She looked down. You've changed. You're always working, always distant. I felt alone. I laughed again, shaking my head. You felt alone? I was building a future for us. I didn't ask for a future, she whispered. I asked for you. The silence between us cracked like glass. I stepped closer. So your answer was to sleep with my best friend? She covered her face. It wasn't supposed to happen. It happened, I said quietly. You made it happen, she dropped her hands, voice sharp. You think you're perfect? You act like a hero, but you only see people as tools. Marcus saw me. He saw a way to use you, I snapped. You're too blind to see it. Her tone turned cold. Maybe that's fine. At least he wants something more than sympathy. I felt my chest tighten. You're saying he's better than me? She looked me straight in the eye. He's more ambitious. You stopped fighting once you won. I took a step back, every breath heavier. So that's it. You don't want love, you want a ladder. Her expression hardened. Don't twist it. I just need someone who won't hold me back. Hold her back. That phrase echoed in my head like a curse. Then take him, I said. Take Marcus, take the company, take everything. Just remember, you can't take my soul with it. She didn't flinch. I never wanted your soul, Ethan. I wanted your drive. You lost it. I stared at her, wondering when the woman I loved had vanished. You really don't feel anything, do you? Her voice softened just a little. I feel sorry for you. That hurt worse than anything. I nodded slowly. You'll regret this, she sighed. Maybe, but I can't keep pretending we're happy. She slipped out of bed, wrapping herself in her robe. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Marcus's name lit up the screen. I stared at it. You should answer. She looked guilty for half a second, then did. Hey, she said softly. Yeah, I'll see you soon. My heart twisted. You couldn't even wait until I left the room? It's business, she said quickly. Right, I muttered. Everything's business now. I walked to the door, but she stopped me. Ethan, please, don't ruin what's left between us. What's left? I turned to her. A lie? She whispered, Goodbye, Ethan. I didn't reply. At the office, I expected whispers. I got silence. People avoided my eyes. The air felt thick with pity. Mia, my assistant, stood by the door, pale. Mr. Cole, she said quietly. Marcus asked to see you. Of course he did. I walked into his office. He was leaning back in my chair, feet on my desk, smiling. You look like hell. I ignored the chair thing. You could have told me, he chuckled. Told you what? That Lena's tired of being invisible? I clenched my fists. That you were sleeping with her? That you were planning to stab me in the back? Marcus shrugged. It's just business, Ethan. You built the machine, but you don't know how to run it anymore. I stepped closer. You think you can run what I bled for? I already am, he said smoothly. The board's voting tomorrow. I'll be CEO. You'll still have your shares. Take the money and disappear. I stared at him, rage boiling under my skin. You're unbelievable, he smirked. You always said I was ambitious. You just never realized ambition bites. You think Lena loves you? I asked. She loves what power smells like. He grinned wider. Then I smell fantastic. I wanted to hit him, to wipe that smile off his face. But I didn't. I just said, you're going to choke on your own ego. He laughed. We'll see. I turned to leave. He called after me. Don't make it messy, Ethan. Be smart for once. I stopped at the door. You stole everything I have. You think I'll walk away quietly? Marcus leaned forward, eyes gleaming. I didn't steal it. You gave it away when you stopped paying attention. For a second, I almost broke. Then I smiled. You're right. I trusted you. That was my mistake. He leaned back again, smug. Lesson learned, huh? Yeah, I said. Never teach a snake how to climb. I walked out before he could reply. Mia met me outside, eyes wide. Ethan, what happened? I forced a smile. Nothing I didn't already know. When I stepped out of the building, the sun hit my face, warm and cruel. I looked up at the company logo, my name still printed on the wall. It wouldn't be there for long. I whispered, Take it, Marcus. Take her. Take it all. My reflection in the glass stared back at me, tired, hollow, human. I'll build something better, I said softly. And I'll make sure you watch. They say success has many fathers, but failure's an orphan. I learned that in a single week. When I walked into the office, people who used to smile looked through me. My name was still on the door, but no one said it out loud anymore. Mia met me by the elevator. They've changed your access card, she whispered. Already? I asked. She nodded. Marcus said it's a security update. I forced a laugh. Right, because I'm such a threat, she hesitated. Do you want me to pack your things? I stared at her, at the loyalty in her eyes. No, let them do it. I don't want to touch anything tainted by them. Mia bit her lip. You built this place. Yeah, I said. That's why it hurts. When I stepped into the boardroom, conversations died mid-sentence. Marcus was at the head of the table, Lena beside him, both glowing like polished liars. Ethan, Marcus said smoothly. Good to see you. We were just discussing next steps. Next steps? I repeated. You mean cleaning up after your theft? Lena's voice was calm, practiced. No one stole anything. The board made a decision. I looked around the table. Every investor avoided my eyes. I asked quietly, all of you agreed? One of them cleared his throat. It's not personal, Ethan. You're tired. Burned out. Burned out. The word hit like acid. Marcus leaned back. You've done enough. You should rest, travel, enjoy life. I clenched my jaw. You mean disappear? He smiled faintly. That too. Lena shifted in her seat. Please don't make this harder than it already is. I stared at her. You already made it impossible. She looked away. Marcus said, Security will escort you out once you're done. I stood there, feeling my insides twist. You're replacing me with yourself, Marcus. Be careful. The crown you stole has thorns, he grinned. I'll handle the pain. I walked out without another word. By the end of the week, I was poison. Investors who once begged to meet me stopped answering calls. Friends texted vague excuses. Wish you the best, man. You'll bounce back. It's complicated right now. Even the media headlines stung. Brilliant founder steps down amid leadership fatigue. Sources say Ethan Cole lost his edge. I wanted to scream that it was all lies, but no one wanted the truth. They wanted a story that made sense. The man who flew too close to the sun and burned. Only Sarah still called me every day. Eat something, she said over the phone. You sound like you're dying. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're drinking coffee and bitterness for breakfast. I built an empire, I said, and they took it. They took your company, she said, not your mind. Big difference. Feels the same. No, Ethan. Losing doesn't define you. Staying lost does. I didn't answer. I didn't want wisdom. I wanted revenge, she sighed. I know you, Ethan. You'll rebuild. You always do. After we hung up, I sat in the dark, staring at old photos. Lena laughing in our kitchen, Marcus raising a toast, me smiling like an idiot. I deleted every picture. That night, I went to O'Malley's bar. It was nearly empty, just the way I liked it. The bartender, an older guy with tired eyes, poured me a whiskey without asking. Rough day? He said. Rough life, I muttered. He chuckled. That bad, huh? I lost everything I built, I said. Then build again, he replied simply. I stared at the glass. You make it sound easy. It isn't. But drinking won't fix it either, I smirked. Neither will talking. He walked away, leaving me with my reflection in the amber liquid. A few minutes later, I heard a familiar voice. Didn't think I'd find you here. It was Sarah. I frowned. You're supposed to be at work. Yeah, well, you're supposed to be sane. She sat down beside me. Guess we're both failing, I sighed. You shouldn't see me like this. Like what, human? She said. Broken. She leaned on the counter. So glue yourself back together, I laughed quietly. You make it sound like art. It is, she said. Pain makes the best artists. I looked at her. You think I can come back from this? She smiled sadly. You built something from nothing once. Do it again, just maybe without the traitors this time. The bartender refilled my glass. You two sound like you've seen a ghost. Sarah raised her eyebrow. He has. It's just still breathing, I exhaled sharply. I want them to pay, Sarah. Her tone hardened. No, you want them to see you win. That's different. What if I can't? Then they already won, she said softly. Her words hit deeper than the whiskey. I stared at the glass in my hand, the surface trembling slightly. You think karma's real? I think truth always comes home, she said. You just have to stay standing long enough to watch it happen. The ice clinked. I tightened my grip. What if I don't want to wait? She sighed. Then you'll become them. That silence stretched until it hurt. Then I said, they ruined me. No, she replied. You let them. Her words made me furious. You don't get it, Sarah. They took everything. She didn't flinch. Then take something back. The glass slipped from my hand and shattered against the counter. Whiskey splashed across the bar, sharp and burning. Everyone turned to look, but I didn't care. I whispered, I'll take it all back. Sarah smiled faintly. There he is. I felt something shift inside. Not peace, not forgiveness, but focus. I grabbed a napkin, wiped my bleeding hand, and said, They wanted me gone. I'll give them something to remember instead. Sarah nodded. Good, just don't forget yourself in the process. I won't, I said. Next time they see me, I'll be the man they tried to destroy, standing taller. As we walked out, the bartender called after me, You break it, you buy it. I smiled for the first time in days. Trust me, I said. I'm done paying for other people's mess. Outside, the night air bit my face, but I felt alive again. For the first time since the betrayal, I wasn't the broken man. I was the one planning his comeback. 3 months. That's how long it took for the anger to cool into something sharper. Purpose. Most days, I worked out of a rented co-working space that smelled like burnt coffee and ambition. No fancy furniture, no team, no title. Just me and the ghost of who I used to be. Then came Daniel Reed. He walked in wearing a gray suit that probably cost more than my car. His tone was crisp when he said, Ethan Cole, the fallen prodigy. I raised an eyebrow. That's one way to introduce yourself. He smiled faintly. Relax, I read about you. Impressive rise. Dramatic fall. Glad to be your entertainment, I said. He sat across from me. I don't deal in entertainment. I deal in potential. You have it. Buried under a pile of pride and mistakes. Sounds flattering. Don't mistake honesty for flattery, he said. I might back you, but only if I see you've learned something. Like what? That revenge doesn't make money. Discipline does, I leaned forward. You think I'm chasing revenge? He gave me a look. Aren't you? I hesitated. Not anymore. I just want to build something better. Something they can't touch. Daniel nodded slowly. Prove it. Show me a concept that isn't built on bitterness. I can do that, I said, though part of me still wanted blood more than profit. Good. My lawyer, Ava, will handle the paperwork if we move forward. Don't waste your time. As he left, I muttered, story of my life lately. Ava was nothing like I expected. I pictured a stiff corporate attorney. Instead, she was calm, sharp-eyed, and carried a quiet confidence that made people listen. Daniel says you're trying to start over, she said during our first meeting. I'm trying to start smarter, I replied. She smiled. Smart is good. Bitter isn't. I'm both, I admitted. Then let's work on cutting the second part. I chuckled. You always this direct? Only with people who remind me of myself, she said. That line stayed with me. We spent long nights reviewing contracts, market gaps, projections, the boring details that used to bore me. But now they felt like armor. Every clause, every number, every signature was a brick in my new foundation. During one of those nights, Ava looked up from her laptop and said, You don't talk about her. Who? Lena. There's nothing left to say. There's always something left to say, she replied quietly. I sighed. She wanted someone more ambitious. Guess she got it. Ambition without ethics burns fast, Ava said. And Marcus? He's the matchstick. She studied me for a moment. You still sound angry. I am. But it's contained now. Good, she said. Containment is progress. I leaned back, watching her type. You talk like a therapist, she smiled. Law school trains you to negotiate with egos, and including your own. Weeks passed. Daniel tested me relentlessly. He questioned everything, my projections, my motives, my leadership. One afternoon, he called me into his office. You've got a solid plan, he said, but tell me this, what's your real goal? To rebuild, I said, too vague. To prove I can. He shook his head. Still wrong. Then you tell me. To lead again, he said. But this time with purpose instead of pride, I exhaled. Maybe you're right. I usually am, he said dryly. So I'll fund you. But one condition, if this becomes a vendetta, I pull out. I understand, I said. Do you? He asked, eyes sharp. Because people who rebuild from pain often forget they're building at all. I won't forget, I said. Not again, he nodded. Then let's get to work. That night, I met Ava at a small diner near the office. She looked exhausted. You work too much, I said. So do you, she replied. We both smiled, the kind of tired smile people wear when they've been through storms. She stirred her coffee. You know, Daniel believes in you. That's rare. I can't tell if it's belief or an experiment, I said. Maybe both, she replied. He likes testing people. You're passing so far. Barely, I muttered. You've changed, she said suddenly. I frowned. How? You listen more. You don't explode. You analyze my had to. Anger was costing me too much, she nodded. Good, keep that. It'll save you. I hesitated before asking, Why are you helping me, Ava? Because I've seen what betrayal does. It either breaks you or sharpens you. And which one am I? She looked straight into my eyes. Ask me again when you win. A month later, Daniel called me into his office again. You've been keeping tabs on your old company, he said. I froze. How do you, please? I'm an investor. I see everything. I didn't deny it. They're running it into the ground. He leaned back. You sound almost happy. Not happy, I said. Just justified, he smiled thinly. Justice and joy rarely mix. Remember that. I'm not gloating, I said. I just know they'll fail on their own. Ava, who was in the room, added, That's the right mindset. Let the fire burn without you feeding it, I looked at her. And when the flames die? Then you build on the ashes, she said softly. That line hit me harder than I expected. That evening, we worked late again. The city lights bled through the windows, painting her face in gold and shadow. I said quietly, You ever think some people are sent into your life to fix what others broke? She looked up. Sometimes. Other times, they just remind you that you can fix yourself. I smiled faintly. You sound like Sarah. She's your sister, right? I like her. She likes you too, I said. Said you're the only one who talks sense into me. Ava laughed softly. Then she's half right. Silence stretched between us, not uncomfortable, just, I finally said. I don't know where this ends, but I know where it starts. Where? Here, I said. With people who don't lie to me. She closed her laptop. Then let's make it count. And for the first time in months, I felt something new. Not rage, not grief, but quiet resolve. The ashes weren't just the past. They were the soil for everything I was about to build. By the time my new company started turning heads, Marcus's empire was already cracking. I didn't smile when I read the first article, just stared at the headline. Cole and Vance Technologies faces lawsuit over data mismanagement. Looks like the tide's turning, Daniel said, setting the paper down. Not by accident, I replied. He raised a brow. You? Let's just say I helped the truth find its way out. Daniel leaned back. How poetic. But don't get sloppy. Karma doesn't need a signature. I'm not signing anything, I said. Just redirecting, he studied me. You sound detached. I have to be, he nodded once. Good. Keep it that way. That evening, I called Mr. Green, the journalist I'd been quietly feeding for months. He answered with his usual dry tone. You're my favorite anonymous source, you know that? Don't flatter me, I said. Is the next piece ready? Scheduled for tomorrow morning. Investors will choke on their coffee. Make sure the documents are redacted properly. They are. You've got nothing to trace. Good. Then let it burn. He chuckled. You sound almost disappointed you can't take credit. I don't need credit, I said. Just balance, he paused. You ever worry you'll go too far? I already did once, I replied. Now I'm just correcting the course. Within a week, Marcus's company was in chaos. Lawsuits multiplied. Partners withdrew. Employees jumped ship. Sarah called one night after reading the news. Ethan, tell me you're not behind this. I didn't lie, I said. Everything out there is true. That's not what I asked. I gave the truth a voice. That's all, she sighed. You sound proud. I sound finished. Finished people don't sound like they're waiting for applause. I'm not waiting for applause, I said. I'm waiting for silence, the kind that comes after everything collapses. She was quiet for a moment. Just don't lose yourself again, okay? I already lost who I was. This is what's left. Then I hope what's left still has a heart, she said softly, and hung up. 2 days later, I got an unexpected message. Lena, can we talk? Please. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Where and when? She sent a cafe address downtown. The same one where we used to plan company launches. The irony wasn't lost on me. Ava noticed the change in my mood at the office. What happened? Lena wants to meet. Are you going? I need to see her lie one last time. Ava looked uneasy. You sure that's wise? I'm not going to hurt her, I said. I just want to know how far she'll go to save herself. Then don't give her what she wants, Ava said. Not even your anger. I won't, I promised. The cafe smelled the same, burnt beans and betrayal. She was already there, wearing white like she always did when she wanted to look innocent. Ethan, she said softly when I approached. Lena, you look different. I am. She hesitated, searching my face. I didn't know who else to call. Marcus has lawyers, I said. You're good at finding powerful men, her eyes flashed. That's not fair. Neither was what you did. She looked down. I made mistakes. No, I said. You made choices. I thought I was doing the right thing for us, she whispered. There was no us once you sold me out. Tears gathered in her eyes. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You saw a shortcut. You took it. And now the road's ending. Marcus isn't who I thought he was, she said. You mean now that the walls are falling? I never wanted it to go this way. I almost laughed. You always wanted it your way. That's the problem. She reached for my hand. Ethan, please. Maybe we can start over. Not like before, just talk. I pulled my hand back. You want forgiveness? I want to fix what's broken. It's not broken, Lena, I said quietly. It's gone, she blinked. You sound so cold. Maybe I finally learned from you. She looked away, whispering, You'll regret this. I already regret meeting you, I said. Her face hardened. You think you've won? This isn't a game, I said. It's cleanup. Marcus will come after you. He already did. And now he's choking on his own smoke, She glared at me. You always thought you were better. No, I said. I just refused to stay dirty. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, in a low voice, I loved you once. I met her eyes. You loved the version of me that built things for you to destroy. She flinched like I'd slapped her. You've changed. I had to, I said, standing up. Some of us grow when the fire hits. Ethan, goodbye, Lena. Her voice cracked behind me. You'll never be free if you keep hating us. I stopped at the door. I'm not hating, I said without turning around. I'm healing. Outside the air felt cleaner somehow. I walked to my car, phone buzzing with messages I didn't bother to check. Daniel called later that night. I heard about the meeting, he said. News travels fast. You handled it? I walked away, he chuckled. That's harder than destroying someone. Yeah, I said. But it lasts longer, he paused. You don't sound satisfied. I'm not supposed to, I said. Satisfaction ends things. I'm still building, Ava called afterward. You okay? I am, I said. She tried to rewrite the past. I didn't let her. That's progress, she said. I think it's closure. She was quiet for a moment. You deserve it. Maybe. Or maybe I just stopped deserving pain. Same thing, she whispered. I hung up and stared at the city lights through my window. Marcus and Lena's empire was crumbling. My name was silent in every headline, and for the first time I didn't need to speak to feel powerful. I just needed to watch, quietly, as the truth did my work for me. The news broke before sunrise. Cole & Vance Technologies declares bankruptcy amid fraud allegations. I didn't smile. I just sat in silence, watching their empire dissolve one headline at a time. Ava walked into my office holding her phone. You've seen it? I have. Marcus is trending for all the wrong reasons. And Lena? Public enemy number 2, I leaned back. Fitting, Ava set her phone down. You should feel something. I do, I said. Calm, she raised an eyebrow. Not satisfaction? No, I said. That's temporary. Calm is permanent. She studied me for a moment. You've changed, Ethan. Pain's a good teacher. She smiled faintly. Then I hope you graduated. Top of my class, I said. By noon, the industry was buzzing. Everyone wanted to know how Marcus and Lena fell so fast. Whispers filled the halls I used to walk. The same people who once avoided me now spoke my name with reverence. Daniel called. Congratulations, he said simply. For what? For patience. You didn't destroy them. Truth did. That's rarer than revenge. Guess I finally learned restraint, he chuckled. That's the real victory. Feels... Quiet, I said. It's supposed to, he replied. Noise is for the desperate. Later that week, I got an email invitation. Annual Tech Vision Conference, keynote speaker Ethan Cole. I stared at it for a long time. That was the same stage Marcus stole from me 2 years ago. The same night he whispered to investors that I wasn't stable enough to lead. Ava saw the look on my face. You're going, right? I don't know. You should, she said. It's not about revenge anymore. It's about reclaiming your name, I nodded slowly. Maybe it's time. The night of the event, I stood backstage listening to the host introduce me. My palms didn't sweat this time. My heart didn't race. Just steady focus. When I walked onto the stage, the lights hit my face, bright, almost blinding. The crowd erupted in applause. For a second, I remembered the first time I stood on that same stage. Marcus smiling beside me. Lena in the front row. My world intact. Now they were nowhere to be found. I adjusted the mic. Thank you, I said, my voice steady. 2 years ago, I stood here dreaming about what success meant. I thought it was money, growth, headlines. I was wrong. The room went still. Success, I continued, is surviving when the people you trusted most cut you open and still choosing to stand. A murmur rippled through the audience. I didn't need to name anyone. They already knew, I went on. I lost everything once. Not because of failure, but because of betrayal. And for a long time, I wanted payback. But the truth is, betrayal doesn't break strong people. It forges them. The silence was heavy, electric. Some of us build from loyalty, I said. Others build from pain. Both can work, but only one lasts, someone clapped. Then another. Then the whole room erupted. As the applause rose, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: release. After the speech, reporters surrounded me. "Mr. Cole, were you referring to Marcus Vance?" One asked. I smiled faintly. "I was referring to the lesson. So it's true you rebuilt without outside funding?" Another asked. "Truth doesn't need investors," I said. "Just conviction." Ava appeared beside me, shielding me from more questions. "That's enough for tonight," she told them. As we walked to the car, she said, "That was powerful." "It was overdue," I said. "Did it feel like closure?" "Not exactly. Then what?" "Balance," she smiled. "You and your metaphors." "I like order," I said. Chaos already had its turn. Later at home, I poured a glass of water and sat by the window. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "You finally got what you wanted." I knew the voice behind the words before I even opened the message history. "Lena." I typed back, "No. I got what I earned," she replied instantly. "Marcus blames me. He says I ruined him." "You both did that together," I wrote. "You could help me? Then I have nothing left." I stared at the blinking cursor, then replied, "Then you finally understand how I felt." No response came. The next morning, Daniel called again. "She reached out, didn't she?" "She did. And?" I let silence answer. He chuckled. "You're learning fast." "I'm tired of noise," I said. "That's wisdom talking." "I think it's peace," I replied. Ava visited later that afternoon. "You've been quiet since the speech," she said. "Just thinking." "About her?" "About everything." She sat across from me. "You know, not everyone gets to rise from their own ruins." "I didn't rise," I said. "I rebuilt." She tilted her head. "What's the difference?" "Rising is dramatic. Rebuilding is deliberate." She smiled softly. "That's very you." "I used to chase moments," I said. "Now I build foundations." "Foundations don't crumble easily," she said. "Neither do I anymore." That evening, as I scrolled through the news, I saw photos of Marcus and Lena leaving a courthouse, faces pale, shoulders heavy. Reporters shouted questions they couldn't answer. For a second, I felt something almost like pity. Almost. Sarah called soon after. "I saw the pictures," she said. "It's over, huh?" "Yeah, finally. Do you forgive them?" "I don't need to," I said. "Forgiveness is for people still holding on." She was quiet. "You sound free." "I think I am." "Then I'm proud of you," she said softly. "Thanks, sis." After the call, I looked out at the skyline glowing in the dark. 2 years ago, I lost everything. Tonight, I stood where they once stood. Not because I clawed my way back, but because I learned when to let go. The applause from earlier still echoed faintly in my ears. It didn't sound like praise, it sounded like closure. The same silence that buried me once had turned into thunder, and this time, it was mine. The rain started just before midnight. Heavy, relentless, like the sky had decided to wash the city clean. I sat by the window, half listening to the sound, half lost in thought when the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, she was standing there, soaked, trembling, mascara running down her face. "Lena." "Hi," she whispered, barely audible over the rain. I didn't move. I just stared. "Can I come in?" she asked. I hesitated, then stepped aside. "Yeah." She walked in slowly, dripping water onto the floor. Her once perfect hair clung to her face, and her eyes looked hollow, nothing like the woman who'd once smiled while taking everything from me. "Nice place," she said softly, glancing around. "You rebuilt well." I did. She turned toward me. "You're not even surprised to see me?" "I expected this eventually," she frowned. "You think I came here for money?" "I think you came because you have nowhere else." Her lip trembled. "That's not fair." "Neither was what you did," I said quietly. She dropped her gaze. "Marcus left me." I didn't respond. "He said I was the reason everything fell apart," she continued. "He took the last of what we had and disappeared." "Sounds familiar," she flinched. "I deserve that." "Yeah," I said. "You do," she took a shaky breath. "I've lost everything, Ethan. The house, the company, the people who pretended to care. I don't even have a name left." I folded my arms. "You traded your name for his once." "That was your choice," her voice cracked. "You think I don't know that?" "I think you knew exactly what you were doing." She looked up at me then. those same green eyes that once had the power to silence my world. I didn't come here to fight. Then why are you here? She took a step closer. Because I can't stop thinking about what we had. Before everything. Before I ruined it. The words hung in the air like smoke. Ethan, she whispered, I still love you. I laughed. Quiet. Bitter. No, you loved who I was when I could give you everything. That's not true. Really? I said. When Marcus offered you more power, more money, you left without a word. You didn't love me, Lena. You loved my success. Tears streamed down her face, mixing with the rain. I made a mistake. No, I said, voice steady. You made a decision, she shook her head. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I interrupted. You wanted a winner. Then I fell, and suddenly you couldn't see me anymore. Her voice cracked. I was scared. Everything was falling apart, and Marcus promised. He promised control, I finished. And you believed him. Because that's what you always wanted. Control. She stepped closer, desperate. I was wrong, Ethan, I see that now. You were the one who actually built something real. I didn't know how to handle watching you lose it. I stared at her. The woman who'd once been my anchor, now just a ghost drenched in rain and regret. You said you loved me, I murmured. But love doesn't vanish when fortune does. Her hands trembled. Please, just listen. I can start over. We can start over. We? I repeated, almost amused. You and me? Yes, she said, reaching out. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance. I stepped back. Forgiveness isn't something you ask for when it's convenient. Her tears fell harder. You don't mean that. I do, I said. You came here because everything else is gone. Because I have what you lost. But what you're looking for isn't love. It's shelter. Her voice broke completely. Please, Ethan, don't do this. I know I hurt you, but I've changed. Everyone changes when the storm hits, I said. But you didn't come to apologize. You came because you can't stand being the one left behind. She stared at me, eyes wide with pain. You think I don't feel guilt? Guilt's easy, I said quietly. Living with it is harder. She covered her face with her hands. I loved you. I still do, I sighed. No, Lena, you loved what I represented. The man who could open doors for you. The one who made you feel untouchable. But the man standing here now, the one who lost everything and rebuilt without you, that man you can't love. She looked up, desperate. Don't say that. It's the truth. Her shoulders slumped. So that's it? After everything, you just shut me out? I'm not shutting you out, I said softly. I'm just done keeping the door open, she whispered. I have nowhere to go. I'm sorry, I said. Truly, but that's not my problem anymore. For a moment, we just stood there, me in the warmth of the doorway. Her shivering under the rain's weight, she whispered. You used to look at me like I was everything. You were, I said. Until you made me nothing, her breath caught. Ethan, goodbye, Lena. I stepped back and closed the door gently. The sound of it clicking shut was quiet, final. For a second, I heard her sobs on the other side, soft, broken, swallowed by rain. Then silence. I stood there, hand still on the door, heart heavy but steady. No anger. No triumph. Just stillness. I walked back to the window. The city lights shimmered through the downpour, distorted and beautiful. Somewhere out there, she was walking away, the same way I once had. Ava's words echoed in my mind. Peace isn't getting what you want. It's no longer needing it. I finally understood. I poured myself a glass of water, sat down, and listened to the rain soften. For the first time in years, the sound didn't ache. It calmed me. Forgiveness didn't mean letting her in. It meant closing the door without hate, and as I watched the raindrops fade against the glass, I realized something simple. Peace doesn't arrive with a roar. It comes quietly, like rain at midnight. The city was still waking up when I walked through the glass doors of my new office. The air smelled of fresh paint, coffee, and quiet victory. Every desk, every file, every detail was built from scratch. No ghosts here, no lies hiding behind smiles. Ava looked up from her laptop. You're here early again, she said, raising an eyebrow. You ever sleep? I tried, I said, half smiling. Didn't work, she shook her head. You're impossible. Most people celebrate when their company hits its first 100 million valuation. You just keep staring out the window like it's some kind of test. Maybe it is. She leaned back in her chair. You're thinking about them again, aren't you? I paused. Not really. Not the way I used to, Ava smiled faintly. Good, because they don't deserve space in your head anymore. I know, I said. It's not about them. It's about who I was, she tilted her head. You mean the guy who thought loyalty was permanent? Yeah, I said quietly. That guy. I walked to the window, watching sunlight creep between skyscrapers. The morning light reflected off the glass, warm and almost golden, a different kind of glow than the harsh lights I used to chase. Ava joined me, her reflection beside mine. You look lighter, she said softly. I feel lighter, she smiled. That's what happens when you stop carrying ghosts. Maybe. I looked at her. You ever think peace is just silence? Not happiness, not closure, just silence? She nodded. Silence means the noise stopped mattering. For a moment, we stood there in that soft, wordless quiet. The hum of the city below felt far away, like it belonged to another life. She broke the silence first. You know, Daniel said you'd burn yourself out trying to rebuild. Guess you proved him wrong. Daniel gave me a chance when no one else did, I said. He saw something left in me, even when I didn't. Ava smiled. And now look at you, the man everyone calls unbreakable. I chuckled. I was broken. I just decided not to stay that way, she grinned. Now you're getting poetic. Must be a sign of age, I laughed quietly. Maybe, or maybe peace just makes people weird. Then I hope you stay weird, she said, brushing her hand against mine. I turned toward her. You know, when I started this company, I didn't think I could trust anyone again. And now? She asked. I looked at her. The way she smiled, the calm in her eyes. Now I think trust isn't given once. It's rebuilt piece by piece, she nodded. Brick by brick. There was something steady in her presence. No games, no hidden motives. Just a quiet strength that grounded me. Remember that night? She said suddenly. When you told me revenge doesn't heal anything? Yeah, I said. I remember. You meant it, didn't you? I did, I said slowly. I used to think revenge would fix the cracks inside me. But when everything fell apart for them, I didn't feel victory. Just emptiness. Ava studied me. And now? Now I think truth has its own timing, I said. You don't have to force it. It finds everyone eventually, she smiled. That's poetic again. Maybe I'm just finally learning how to live. Ava folded her arms, teasing. Careful. If you keep saying things like that, I might actually start to like working for you. I raised an eyebrow. You already do, she laughed. Fine, maybe a little, but only because you buy good coffee. Her laughter filled the room, soft, genuine, nothing like the hollow smiles I used to live around. I sat on the edge of my desk. You know, sometimes I wonder what I'd say if I saw them again. She looked at me curiously. And? I'd probably thank them, she blinked. Thank them? For what? For leaving, I said. For teaching me that some endings aren't meant to be fixed. Her expression softened. You really have changed. I had to, I said. Pain either hardens you or shapes you. I just decided to let it shape me, Ava smiled. Then I guess the storm was worth it. Yeah, I said, glancing at the sky again. It was. Outside, the first rays of sunlight broke fully across the skyline. Gold spilled over the city, washing glass towers in warmth. Look at that, Ava whispered. Perfect timing. It's beautiful, I said. Feels like a sign. Maybe it is, I murmured. A new day, she nudged me playfully. Don't get all philosophical on me, boss. You've got a meeting in 10, I grinned. Right, the new investors. Big names, she said. They believe in you. I met her eyes. So do you, she smiled. Always. Something inside me loosened at that. Not excitement, not pride, just calm acceptance. The kind that comes when you finally stop looking backward. I looked around the office one more time. The quiet hum of computers, the faint smell of fresh coffee, the warmth of sunlight spreading across the walls. For the first time in years, I wasn't haunted. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was alive. Ava headed for the door. You coming? In a minute, I said. She nodded and left, her laughter echoing faintly down the hall. I turned back to the window. The sun was higher now, its light reflecting off 1,000 glass panes, fragments of fire across the skyline. I thought about everything, the betrayal, the fall, the rebuilding, and for the first time, it all felt distant, like an old movie I'd once lived in but no longer belonged to. I whispered to myself, I don't believe in revenge anymore, only in truth. It always comes back around, the words felt right. Final outside, the city was alive again. Inside, I finally was too. And as the sunlight warmed my face, I realized something simple. The silence after the storm isn't empty. It's peace, waiting to be heard.